Welcome back to Africa 54. Now, interest in the American civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s is surging, thanks in part to the Hollywood motion picture Selma. On Saturday, U.S. President Barack Obama will lead the nation in commemorating the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, the day white police officers brutally attacked demonstrators in Selma, Alabama. VOA's Chris Simkins tells us more about the renewed interest in the civil rights era.
To be detrimental to your safety to continue this march.
The images of police beating back peaceful voting rights protesters put the spotlight on Selma, Alabama in March 1965. Days after Bloody Sunday, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. led thousands in a historic voting rights march. Now, 5 decades later, these students come to the same location in Selma to learn about civil rights struggles and the people who were a part of the movement.
It's just a real good feeling that thanks to our ancestors that we had the right to vote and do multiple other things.
The confrontation on the Edmund Pettus Bridge exposed a facade of white supremacy, discrimination, and the plight of millions of African Americans who were denied voting rights in parts of the South.
And we must let the world know that it is necessary to protest this threefold evil. The problem of the denial of the right to vote to police brutality.
During the past decade, Southern communities once ashamed of their past are now embracing it with hopes of attracting more tourists to civil rights battlegrounds. Lee Sintel is Alabama's tourism director.
Our job is to make sure that people learn about the story beyond just the fact that Martin Luther King made a lot of great speeches, because there were ordinary people who had a lot to lose, whether their jobs or their lives, and they demonstrated to make change come to the South and the country and the world.
After they were beaten back on Bloody Sunday, they called me and I went over that same night.
Attorney Fred Gray and his wife founded this small museum in Tuskegee in 1997. Now it's one of several in Alabama, providing people with unique insights into the fight against racial discrimination. He hopes the state will establish and maintain more civil rights landmarks.
The state of Alabama, and particularly the Department of Tourism, now recognize the fact that civil rights is an engine for economic growth and development. They see that people are interested and that we need to preserve that history. And by preserving it and by people coming in, it generates tourism.
At least 200,000 people visit civil rights attractions in Birmingham each year. Mayor William Bell.
I think by looking at our civil rights history and attracting people to come in and see not only the way we were, but the way we are and the way we want to be, will give us the financial support to really make sure that our cities grow and prosper.
Across the South, communities are putting up historical markers, building museums, and fixing up churches significant to the movement. Melissa Gray brought her family to Selma.
Well, I think if we don't understand our history, we may definitely repeat our history. And it's so important for our children who don't have to deal with the struggles that my predecessors and siblings and my parents had to deal with.
Out of 55,000, only 240 only vote. That is so bad.
People in Selma are embracing an increase in civil rights tourism. They hope it will help this struggling economy by providing jobs and helping the city. Chris Simkins, VOA News, Selma, Alabama.